Hey Mindset Community, Dr. Ellen here, coming to you today with your next workout. All right, today we're going to talk about control, because in life and in workouts, you are in control. So you have the power to choose whether those are hard, whether those are fun, whether they're rewarding, whether they're an absolute struggle, right? This is all up to you and your power to choose. So today, I want you to choose wisely. And I want you to choose the fact that you're going to focus on yourself, you're going to do what you can, and you're going to meet yourself where you are that day, and you're not going to hold judgment after the workout is done. I know I am notorious for being a reflector, where I go back and review interactions I've had through the day, cases I've had through the day, and earlier in my career, those were always associated with judgment on myself, in usually the sake of, I would definitely sacrifice the ability of moving forward rather than actually using them to reflect how can I do better. But now that I'm old, I realize the value of reflection without judgment. So if you can do that today, where you can focus on controlling of yourself and controlling of your experience, then when you reflect, you're automatically setting yourself up for a better scenario, for productivity, and overall advancement towards your goals, okay? So remember, you have control today. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna actually meet over on the mat. Things you're gonna need today are those heavy weights and then your stick. We're gonna begin with a little bit of some PVC work for both the lower extremity as well as the upper extremity. Then we're gonna flow into some core work, and we just started to get back into the Turkish get up yesterday, so you will notice that as well in today. And then we're gonna do another 50-10 today. But it's a totally different feel. So you could tell yesterday was challenging. If you really pushed yourself, it was definitely challenging. Whereas today, it's gonna be challenging, but in some more isolated formats. Okay, so hopefully that was enough time for you to get your things and get yourself set up. We're gonna meet on the mat with your stick to begin, okay? We don't need a timer, so we should be good to go. It's a little chilly in the barn here today, so you're gonna notice I have 2 pairs of pants on, 2 tops on, and I have a hat and gloves. All right. It's always a gamble with my kiddos to see where they come in and play in the barn a lot, which I love and want to foster. I want to have them enjoy this space, but sometimes I can't find where they put my stuff. All right, so we're starting with our PVC pipe. So we're gonna first come up and overhead to wherever is comfortable. Some of you are starting this in the morning. Oh, like me, it's pretty early here right now. And so if you are doing this in the morning, you might find that you're a little stiffer than if you did this in the afternoon. Sometimes when you do it in the afternoon, you're not so stiff, but you're a little more tired. It just depends on your day. It just depends on who you are. Go ahead and slide those hands out. Good job. Just increasing the mobility little by little. You do not have to go all the way around. And remember, this is about doing what range of motion you have at this very moment. And it needs to be pain-free. Not necessarily saying this motion is clean for me yet. It's getting cleaner each time I do it. But it needs to be pain-free for all of you. Good. Next one, you're going to rest behind your head. Sliding your hands in and hold. And release. In to hold. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Drive those elbows toward the floor like you're trying to break this bar in your back. And release. Come in and hold. Good. The natural tendency here is to inhale as you open your arms. Exhale them in. You can stay here for a breath or two. I know some of you have talked to me in coaching calls. This is a tough position for you. Just keep working at it. Okay, this one is a hard one, but it really pays off. Now we're going to do 10 ins and outs, no hold. 1, 2, and 10. Good, go ahead and release that from behind the head. Those arms relax for a second. Now we're gonna go into our forward scoop movement, ending behind the head where we just were. So slide that down your legs using your hip hinge. So hip hinge down, reach out, and end behind the head. Scoop down, reach out, and behind the head. Now all of you, if you're at this point, you should have done this before. Now if you're watching this video for the first time, that means that you have skipped around, okay? These are built like courses, so go back to the beginning. All right, slide, reach, and behind the head. Hip hinge, slide, reach, come up and overhead. Slide, reach, up and overhead. From the side, you can see me doing that hip hinge, reach, and behind the head. One more time. Slide with your hip hinge, reach, go behind your head. All right, next one. Pole comes out in front, and you're gonna reach behind you with that big, long stretch. So I want you to feel a little bit of stretch in the hip, a little bit of stretch in the calf. Wherever you need it, you can even hang forward or leaning forward, stretching the arms as well. You can get a lot of things in this position right now. Good, step forward, and we're gonna switch sides. Great job, step forward, switch sides. Now this is the beginning of our workout, so we're not holding this terribly long. Good, step forward, come together. Good, step forward. Good, we're gonna do one more time on each side. Switch. Good, and switch. Very good. Okay, starting to get a little warmer, starting to open up our bodies. Go back to behind your head. If you can, you're gonna be able to sit back. Whether you're gonna sit down into a chair or a bench or an air squat does not matter to me, but feet are pointed straight ahead, knees come out, butt comes back. Want to keep that chest upright if you can. We're just coming down, exploring your hip range of motion to begin. We got about 7 more. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 more. 5, 6, 7. Good. So now what you're going to do, start with your feet together. You're going to dip a little bit. Drive that bar overhead as you drop into a squat. This one's a little bit faster, okay? So we begin here. It's almost like you're holding that bar still so that you can drop underneath, okay? So we're gonna be here, and you're gonna push that overhead and land into your squat. And it's a little bit of a hop outward as you do that. So watch my feet, you can see they're pretty narrow. As I get underneath that bar, I jump out wide. Okay, we've got 7 more. Mosquitoes. 1. And you'll notice my hands kind of slide out of the bar as well. Just a hair. Then you don't really change a whole ton. Ideally, don't leave the bar much, but you might notice a little bit because my shoulders are tight this morning. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. keep that up there. If you need a break for your shoulders, you take one. But when you're ready, let's go back up top. And we're gonna do 7 backwards lunges. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Good, other side. And we've done variations of squats. We've done variations of lunges. So pick which one works for you. 1, woo, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Good. All right, now we're gonna come down to the ground in our kneeling hip hinges and squats here. Okay, so this way. We're going to let our hips come back towards our bum and our shoulders stay forward over our knees. Okay, so see if you can do this. This is a very hip heavy movement. So I really want you to focus on your glutes and your proximal hamstrings. You know I'm a big fan of that muscle complex. We sit on it too much, so it needs a lot of loving in our workouts. Keep going. And if your knees don't let you go that far, go here. Or get a pad underneath your knees. Whatever you need. Keep going. We got 8 more. 1. Squeeze your butt. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. Squeeze your butt. And 8. Good. Okay, use this to stand up if you, actually, I'm sorry, stay down here. My apologies, we're gonna stay here for the next series. All right, so now this is our big bear, baby bear flow to try to warm up our core and shoulders. So our hands and knees into our tabletop. Shoulders are over our hands. Knees are underneath our hips. Tuck the toes in. And we're gonna exhale and lift our knees off of the ground. Inhale, we'll return to the floor for the start. Inhale, and then exhale to lift. Inhale down. Exhale to lift. Inhale down. And you can do this at your own pace, but we're gonna do about 5 more here. So go ahead and go inhale, and then exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. 3 more. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Good, now we're gonna go, that's baby bear. So now we're going to exhale to baby bear. Then we will inhale upwards to big bear. And we're gonna stay there for a breath or 2. Okay, so when you're ready, inhale. Exhale to lift. Inhale to big bear. Remember, knees are tight, arms are straight. Good. When you're ready, flow back down. And then flow back up. Never touching the ground. Come back down. And up. Good, and down. Let's do 2 more. And up. And down. And up. And down, hover. good job, everybody. Okay, we should be getting ready. Now we need to do our Turkish get-ups now. My apologies, my screen went dark here. And for those of you who don't know, who've never been in the gym, that's what our workout looks like, if I can get the glare down, as we go along. And so for those of you who come to our gym, we put that up on the big TV above the lockers so that just in case you have trouble hearing, or if you are the type of personality that wants to know what we're doing ahead of time, that you've got that information. All right, so now we're gonna head into our Turkish get-up sequence, where it was kind of that ladder we did yesterday. So you can use a weight on this. You don't have to, but you can use a weight. But we're gonna start with our right leg straight and our right arm straight, okay? Actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do the other way. We're gonna do left leg straight, left arm straight, right arm drops out at about that 45-degree angle. Again, the weight, if you want to, is in this hand. My thumb is always pointing towards my overhead though. That's the position of your shoulder that you need to keep that in. So if you're using one, just be aware. If it's a dumbbell, the top part should be pointing straight ahead. If you're using kettlebell, the bell should be on the back of your wrist. If you're using a can, you should be pointing that top part of the lid upwards, okay? So we're gonna roll onto your right elbow, and then we're gonna lay back down. Then we're gonna come all the way up onto our hand now. So we went to, this is the start position. Actually, it's not the true start position, but we're gonna use it for today. You're gonna go to the hand, then now to the, the elbow to the hand. So roll through the elbow to the hand, and then come back down. Good, roll to the elbow, to the hand, into the bridge. Come back down with the hips, to the elbow, to the floor. Good, now we're gonna go to the bring the leg underneath. So we're come elbow, hand into our bridge. Good, I feel like this is wrong. I did that wrong, I'm so sorry guys. And then bring this knee under. And then now kick it through, hips, all the way to the elbow to the floor. My apologies, everybody. It is early here, so give me grace, okay? All right, we're gonna roll elbow to hand to bridge, to bring it through to vertical. Then we're going hand down to the floor. Kick it through, drop the hips, elbow, floor. Okay, now we're gonna add the stand up. We're going roll to elbow to hand to bridge, bring it under, vertical, and step. Now we're gonna go back down into our lunge, drop the hand. This is your kind of windmill position. Okay, kick it through, drop the hips to the elbow to the floor. Great job, everybody. Now we're going all the way up, okay? All right, elbow to hand to bridge to bring it through, vertical, step up, push me, and together. Now to come back down, step back with that right leg, drop to the floor, bring it through, drop the hips, roll to the elbow to the floor. Good job, everybody. We're gonna switch sides. Ooh, this way, okay? So left leg is out straight, left arm is at a 45-degree angle or so off of the shoulder, right leg is up, right hand is up, thumb is pointing straight overhead. So take a minute just to feel that position. Left leg straight, left arm out at 45 degrees, right arm is in the air, thumb is pointing up, and we have our right knee bent, okay? Roll up to your elbow, roll back down, roll up to the hand, roll back down, good. Roll up to the hand, into your bridge, hips down, roll to the elbow and to the floor, okay? Roll up to the elbow, hand, bridge, bring it under, good, kick it through, hips down, elbow to floor, elbow, hand, bridge, bring it under, go vertical with your body, drop your hand, kick through, drop the bridge, roll to your elbow and down. You're doing great, everybody. everybody. This is complicated. I'm really proud of you. Okay, roll to the elbow, to hand, to bridge. Bring it under. Vertical with the body. Step up. Come down. Hand down. Kick through. Butt down. Elbow and floor. This is all the way through now. Elbow, hand, bridge. Bring it under. Vertical, step up and together. Step back, knee down, hand down. Kick through, drop the bridge, elbow and floor. You did it! Very good job, everybody. I'm proud of you. That's evil because it messes with you here, right? But this is that control piece that I want you to focus on. All right, we're heading into our 50-10 series now. 50 seconds of work, 10 seconds of rest in between each movement. We have 6 movements, all right? So each round will take us 6 minutes. And, 6 minutes. And so within that, we're gonna do some mermaids, some single leg bridges if you can, squats and deadlifts. So let me show you. The first exercise is the mermaid lift right. And so that means the right leg will be in the front. Okay? So you're gonna be like so, right leg will be in the front, left leg will be tucked underneath. So for 50 seconds, you're gonna try to get your lifts. And if this is too difficult or too tight for you, we've talked about getting something underneath your bum. Okay, so that lifts your hips up. If that still isn't enough, you can technically do this on a step stool or even a high couch pillow, even if just a towel roll or something isn't enough. But worst case scenario, get into this position and just do a forward lean into your hands if you can, trying to get your butt off of the floor. It doesn't have to be a ton, you need to get this position to open up the hips and contract certain glutes and rotators in certain positions. All right, so mermaid lift right is set 1. Then we will lay down and we will bridge right. So multiple things we can do here. If you are a level 1, you're gonna just use both legs to bridge. If you are a level 2, you can just have your other knee bent but close to you. If you're a level 3, you can have that leg all the way out when you do this one. So, okay, so just review. Level 1 is both legs underneath. Level 2 is the left leg is up, but it is close, okay? And then level 3, it is out straight, but in the air. Okay? So we're gonna do that for 50 seconds. It's hard. Then we'll stand back up and do deadlifts. Now those weights that I mentioned before, I want you to use those because I want you to feel now that we've sensitized your right glute and hamstring complex, what a deadlift feels like when one muscle is a little bit more strong than the other at that moment. Then we're gonna come back down and do mermaid lifts left, then we'll do bridge left, and then we're gonna do squats with that weight. Okay, so that's the series as we begin today. We'll try to get 3 rounds in today. So I'm gonna stop talking so we can get going. All right? So, 10 seconds on the clock. And we're going now, everybody. Okay, mermaid lift right. That's our start. So 50 seconds on the clock. This is not a race on this one, especially during the bridges. We want to make sure in the next section that you feel that in the glute and the hamstring complex. You do not feel that in your spine, okay? That's very, very important. This is hard. This section is hard. You're not going to get the cardiorespiratory work like you did yesterday. You're going to get muscle work, so take your time. Speed is not your friend here. Okay, now lay down. Remember, level 1s are going to stay in the bridge. Okay, level 2 is you're gonna try to get one knee up. Level 3, your other leg's gonna be straight up. I'm gonna show you that level 2. Squeeze your butt. I don't care how high you go. When you're doing just one leg, anticipate your hips are not gonna go as high as if you had both. The goal though is to load the right more than the left. So even if you're a level 1, try to push down a little bit more with that right hip. It should be sensitized from that first section. So squeeze that right glute and that hamstring a little bit more than the left. As well, trying to keep those hips level so we're not letting your hip drop or slide out to the side. Want that to be nice and level. So if you took that bar and you put it across your pelvis without trying, it should stay there. Okay? So now we have deadlift. Stand up, grab your weight, and let's do a little deadlift here. And now again, this is about slow. Now you should feel right on that first pull, that right leg is different than the left. Might be a little bit more active is the hope right now. If we gas you too much in those first 2 sets, then you'll feel your left a little bit more active. So that gives you a great idea as far as how much gas or energy or strength you have in that proximal hip complex. So if you're very weak here, you'll probably feel your left quite a bit during your deadlift. Good. Left mermaid. Okay, next beat, we're gonna lift. And remember, one of your mermaids is always better than the other. They're gonna feel different, and that is okay. After this, we have bridge, and then squat, and then we get a break. See? Totally different than yesterday. Same timing and organization to the workout, but you can see based on the content and the purpose, we're gonna get a very different effect. Now your left butt cheek should be like, oh, should be waking up. Okay, good. Now we've got bridges left. Now, you remember my hip injury, right? So let's see how this goes so you can kind of have a strategy here. So level 1s are both legs. Level 2, you can see it's tiny still. Right? I'm not getting that oomph like I did on the other side. Well, this is good for me to know, right? So guess what I can be working on when I'm watching TV with my littles or we're playing down on the ground? Something like that. Should probably be doing this a little bit more often, right? Here's the level 3. After this, we have squats. All right, standing up for squats. Air squats are fine. Sit to stands are fine. Even resistance is fine. Pick what's right for you. Now you should feel this. This should feel different than when we did our warm-ups. Okay? This should feel different to you. Hopefully you feel like, oh, I can use my glutes a little bit more in that squat. They help me kind of pop right out of the bottom. Right? That bottom edge of that squat should be much easier. Popping it right up. Less resistance there, greater glute activation. Overall, just a much happier movement. All right, take a break if you need to. Grab your water. Hopefully you don't need to grab too much oxygen right now. Don't mind that beat. You have a minute. That cardiorespiratory piece here, your heart rate should be up a little bit, but not terribly significant, unless your hip mobility is really, really, really tight. And it's hard, and it's kind of nerve-wracking for your nervous system to be very uncomfortable at end range. So if you need to, go ahead and get something underneath that bum if you didn't first round and you really struggled. But if you did have something underneath your bum and it was too easy, let's say it was a rolled towel, take a little bit out, unfold it a little bit, and try to get deeper into that range of motion. All right, you've got 20 seconds, and we're starting mermaid right. But use the data from that first round to make a choice for this second round so that you can figure out where your weak points are. That's the 10-second buzzer. We're going mermaid lift right. Here we go. And remember, not fast. We just want control. So our right leg is in the front. Our right glute is where your attention should be, that right glute and top hamstring. That's what I mean by when I say proximal. Proximal, keep going. Proximal means closer to your body, like as in to your core. So distal, meaning farther away. So your foot is distal to your hip, right? Or to your knee. It's just farther away from your body. Kind of like distant, but distal. And proximal, I mean, kind of similar to proximity, right? You're getting closer. Good. Bridge right. Find the version that works for you. Okay, I'm going to show version 1, but imagine I am pushing harder into the floor with my right. So a way to do that, which is really hard to see right now, is I'm taking my left and I'm putting it down, but I'm just touching down, kind of like we do with our kickstand technique. So I'm using my left as a kickstand just so I can drive off of my right, but have greater activation. Even though my left is touching the ground, it's just providing a hair bit of support. It's not actually a prime mover here, so I'm still feeling quite a bit of contraction in my right glute. Okay? So that's that kind of in between level 1 and level 2 version. That's the 1.5, folks. Just need that little bit of help. Okay, that heel is up. Okay, now we have deadlifts. All right, what you using? I'm using the kettlebell. This one is 35 pounds. And you know at the gym we have lots of these. They're great tools. So I'm excited, hopefully real soon, to have everybody back using these. With social distancing and medical grade cleaner, of course. 25 seconds left on the clock. Then we're going mermaid left. Seven seconds. Good, mermaid left. Now we're on to the left glute here. Good job. Squeeze, drive the hips forward. That will help you rise. Not necessarily trying to drive the hips up. You have to get your weight, your center of mass, over the base. So you have to lean forward and drive the hips forward and through to get them over your base, which in this case is that front platform that you make, or the shin box is called in yoga. Good job, almost there. After this, we're going left bridge. Good. So left is your driver. Right can be down if you need assistance, either in the flat foot format or in the kickstand, like we talked about, just the toe, but the heel is up. So you're driving much more with the left. Now, for those of you who are paying attention, the first round, you can see how much better activation, range of motion, and contraction I get with the kickstand, but I'm still loading my left quite a bit. Okay, so that is an option for you guys. You can also go to these level 2s or level 3 out in the straight leg format. Just make sure, again, we're not loading our spine, we're loading that glute. Some people like to do this. As far as the cross, I usually don't recommend that. So if you're doing that at home, you might try to take that away because this helps. You might think that the leg is resting, but it's not. All right, now we've got squats. It's actually assisting, so you don't want to do that if you don't have to. All right, I'd much rather you do a double bridge format. Again, woo! Nice, clean squat range of motion now. That should feel happy and prettier, much more comfortable. I know a lot of you are struggling with hip range of motion, so this is a good one for you. It's also really great technique to do before you work out, right? Or maybe that's what you should be doing at the end of the day with your kids, or with your book, or with your show, whatever it might be. 4 seconds. Good, take a break. Woo! You've got a minute to go. And we're going another round because you guys are tough. That's why, okay, you got 1 minute left. That's our 50-second timer. So, I'm proud of you. So far, you have done great. We're actually gonna switch the deadlift and the squat just so that we're not always activating the right glute before the deadlift and the left glute before the squat. So we're actually gonna switch those. So that section might feel a hair different than the first 2 rounds, but you still have enough data to make good choices, okay? You have about 30 seconds to go, so grab something heavy for your deadlift. You can also use that for your squat section, but remember, we're gonna do the right hip, and then instead of a deadlift, we're gonna actually do your squat then, okay? I hope you're having a good day. Hope you're kicking butt. I hope you're getting some water. Maybe you said, you know what, that was easy. I'm gonna add a little bit more weight in there. Whatever you need, 5 seconds, we're going right mermaid. Good, coming up and through. Here we go. Hope you're paying attention to that right buttock area, right hamstring. Not a ton of weight. Now you can, could I hold on to this? Well, I don't actually know, but let's find out. So here's a 35-pound kettlebell. You could still do the goblet squat position and rise through that if you really wanted. That is okay too. But you gotta have full range of motion in order to do that, to make sure you keep this away from your spine. Good. Right glute, hip raise, or the bridges. Okay? I like this one because you get to lay down and then I go to do it and go, oh, this is hard. I like it though. You could also put weight on your hip or pelvis during this one. A little hard to do in a kettlebell, but usually a dumbbell works better. But the principle is still the same. And you could drive through a weight here if you wanted. Not gonna get probably as high as you did without it, but you'll get really good activation. This also might mean, if you can't get very high, that your hip flexors, one in particular called the rectus femoris, is pretty tight, okay? So that half kneeling hip flexor stretch with the glute squeeze and the butt tuck would be really good for you. All right, so now we have our squats next, not the deadlift. We're going squats here. All right, 50 seconds, push yourself a little bit. And I don't know if you can see, but my body went right over to the right leg because it went, oh, that leg's ready to go. And so it just varies depending on how much energy you have left. But especially if you train with resistance, keep going. That weight right there makes this feel like a piece of cake. And that's the beauty of training with resistance and load, is it changes your body's perspective to what is hard and challenging. You start to move that bar, that threshold, way back relative to daily life. And the greater buffer you have, the better. Woo! All right, now we're going down, mermaid left. Remember, forward and hips through. Lean forward, hips through. If you're feeling shaky and your heart rate's starting to increase, this is the time to slow that. Slow that heart rate, slow that breathing rate, get control of your nervous system. If you're not used to doing these proximal hip rotators, you have part of the nervous system that comes out from your lower back, goes right through some of these muscles. One in particular is called the piriformis. Probably heard of a bit of that guy. As the sciatic nerve passes by, the sciatic nerve is actually made up of two nerves, and usually they're in one sheath at that point, but sometimes they're not. But that nerve complex can go above the nerve, it can go under the nerve, and it can actually pierce the muscle. So, your body might be a hair bit defensive of this position. So here's that kettlebell right on my hip. I'm trying to lift that sucker. Drive my hips toward the ceiling. In addition, that nerve, if it has separated and those two components are now open, and here's that muscle, one could go on top, one could go below, one could go on top, and one could pierce through. So you can understand, we're deadlifting, why your body might be a little bit defensive of this hip complex. This is the last one, 40 seconds. Catch your breath. Drive into the ground. Squeeze that posterior chain. Show you from the side. My back is straight, right, but my butt's coming behind me. I have much more hip contribution to this movement than I do knee. Hips come back, and then they come forward. Instead of more vertical, like the squat is, this hip has greater contribution to the deadlift, so therefore, it's a little more horizontal. Great job, everybody. Okay, I'm gonna stop the timer. Or should we stop the clock here? All right, so for the last thing of the day, what I want you to try to work into today is I want you to go out for a 10-minute walk at some point today. It could be with someone, it could be by yourself, but just take 10 minutes to add a purposeful amount of extra movement to your day. Doesn't have to be necessarily outside. It would be best if you were outside. There's wonderful things as far as vitamin D and fresh air and the overall change in your ocular focus. So for those of you who are spending quite a bit of time at screens, all you have to do then is change the ability to focus light on your retina on the back of your eye, but at very short distances. And that's actually difficult for your eye. So going outside and exposing yourself to different depths and distances can be really, really important. So get outside for your eyes, for your posture and your muscles, for your lungs, for your heart, for the hormone changes, for the chemical changes with vitamin D and the melanin in your skin. I could go on for hours about the importance of being outside. So that's your homework today. Instead of the static stretching at the end, get outside at some point today. It could be right now, it could be this afternoon, depending upon what time you're doing this. It doesn't matter, it's totally up to you. If you are doing this at night before you go to bed, feel free to save that 10-minute walk for tomorrow. But either way, make it a point, be intentional, and take that time for yourself. All right? You're in control. We love you more than you know.